thank you for your patience as we dealt with some technical errors, but we are happy to be here. There's a lot to discuss. I
Oh
was
my
very,
God.
very deflated when Quinn had won the HOH, the household we call head. And I was really not about this at all. But because he got basically nothing he wanted, woo, I'm back.
Please.
I am Kyle Petty, and I am joined, as always, by my festy besties, John Dunphy and Gina Morgino. And this is Strat Chat, arguably your favorite reality TV show podcast. You can find us on all the socials at Strat Chat Pod, even though we have given up the blue sky. Although ones might argue we never adopted same. All right, there's a lot to do tonight. Obviously, we are going to get into Julie's denim when we get into when we get into the next Julie judgment. But what else do we have to discuss? Quinn's messy ass HOH week. But before we get to any of that, let's talk about last week's poll results. Because listen, we also know that Gina is trying to stuff the ballot box.
Yeah, really.
I can vote for whoever I want.
For real.
No, you can do whatever you want. Yeah, you can do whatever you want with your points, but you definitely are voting as an audience member.
I only did that the very first time.
So,
I've never done that again.
We're just going to shine some light on the fact that even in-house,
I don't do that. I did it the very
fraud.
First time. That's it.
Voter fraud.
Don't put that on me.
One might like to wonder where you were January 6th.
Whoa! Let's not do that.
That was wild.
Way too far.
I was watching TV horrified is what I was doing.
But T-Core is still taking it. Obviously we're going to see Tucker take a slide as we continue on.
It really hurts to see him black and white in the team now. It's rough.
It hurts to see him in black and white on my team photo as well, which we'll certainly get into where everybody stands. Because I will say Team Petty took a hit this week, but I'm still super chuffed about what's going on in the house. So the votes are open. You can vote for your favorite this week. Let us know. # first name who you like. Mackenzie fans out there, we made it easier for you if you're in the comments. It's # MJ. Don't have to spell out Mackenzie, but we did it, for the legend. We did it for the legend's sake. If you've got multiple screens going on here, you can scan the QR code that you see there and give a vote.
I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
Up. But the fact that she has to be like hands up is like telling us something.
I haven't done it. I did it the very first time, and that's it.
Oh my!
I know, right? She's so screamy. She's so screamy. Well, I don't know, like king, like princess, I suppose.
I've told you 1,000 times I yell on this podcast.
Yeah, you are really adopting Quinn's behavior here.
I've always yelled on this podcast. I don't know why you're acting like it's news.
Yeah, but this sounds a little bit more aggressive, and I think that's what happened, I guess, when paws are up. So Liz apparently has the authority to vote for Matt during the Hot or Not. We can't wait to get there. That's going to be great. So where do we start with this sucker? We had a classic HOH competition here. Having the egg going up the chicken wire. I saw some people on Twitter not too enthused with this because apparently Cam has an egg allergy.
Oh, yes, I did see that.
Okay.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that. I didn't see that.
But how much does that matter? Like, Truly.
It depends what kind of an allergy it is, because some of them are just like if you ingest it, it's a problem. But like if the egg were to crack and he got like the yolk on his hands or something like that, it could have been a big problem. I don't know, like how
I would
severe
like
his
to
allergy
assume, though, that they would have known how severe it is before they did
I mean,
this.
they didn't make allowances for a
I
deaf
know,
house guest
I
last
know.
season, so
As it
I
was
don't know that they
coming
would
out of
take.
as it was coming out of my mouth, I was like, Kyle, you wrong.
I would
You're
love
not right. You give them way too much credit. You give them way
yeah.
too much credit. Yeah,
It
yeah.
it's interesting too though, because I had no idea about this, but wasn't Cam one of the people that had 2 letters down? Like was like pretty close to winning? Like didn't he do pretty well in this?
Possibly, but he had to move significantly slower than everybody else to make sure that he didn't crack
It
it.
didn't crack it.
So it
Yeah.
definitely like set him up for
Okay.
failure a little bit. Like he could have done better.
I remember him specifically getting at least 1 letter, but I might be wrong about the second one.
I don't remember who we ended up with at that last group.
I gotta be honest. I didn't watch most of this. You know, like I saw what it was, and then like I just kind of started walking around and doing other stuff because we already knew who won. So I was like, oh, really? All right,
Fair enough.
Right? Yeah. No. Totally. Actually, I was more
Yeah,
focused on Angela just sitting there holding on to her egg. Which, by the way, can I ask, is she a have-not this week?
No.
Because so she never got, because this is what was weird to me, because it was supposed to be the first 3 people that drop, right? But what if the HOH is one of those first 3? Like I feel like it should be the next person that drops, right?
Yeah,
like
the other 2.
But but I don't like that. I feel like it should still be 3 people. So like once Quinn won and he was no longer a have-not, because I feel like Angela was the next person to drop. And
I don't remember.
If she had to be a have-not after just sitting there holding it, waiting for everyone else to drop, it would have been so delicious.
Yeah, I also would have just been annoyed as like a house guest. Like, yes, it's completely like her choice to like to put herself in that predicament, but I also be like, what are you doing? Like, you're increasing my chances of it. Would you? I don't know. Like, it would kind of bother me a little bit,
Right.
even though it's within her right.
And I think Mackenzie even, I think it was Mackenzie was the one that said, she was like, why does Angela feel so safe and comfortable in this house that she can just sit there? And like, I feel like as a house guest, I would have been thinking the same thing. So it doesn't seem like anyone else was though.
Absolutely. No, I totally agree with that. And can we talk about Mackenzie? We're just going to hop around, right? We're going to hop around. I am finding her more and more intriguing as the season goes on.
She's grown on me for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like I was never turned off to her, and I won't quite say that I'm fully turned on, but I'm definitely interested. I'm tuned in, if you will, because I keep lumping her with Leah, assuming that however Leah is going to move, that's what Mackenzie's going to do. And clearly that's not the case here. And I think there were times before that they didn't quite see eye to eye, but either way, I still kind of put them together. And the fact that I still feel like Mackenzie, I think she made that decision tonight, like to vote out Joseph.
I literally think
that in the room.
Yeah, I genuinely think, and somebody had tweeted it, like very, very rarely, if ever, have we seen those last couple of pleas from the nominees actually change the vote. Everything's pretty much usually set in stone by that point. I genuinely think Chemo turned her in the moment. Because she sat there for a while. It was literally a spur of the moment decision.
Totally. So I gasped. I thought the only way that, I thought the only way that Joseph was going to leave is if Angela voted him out with them, which is just so funny that she didn't think she had the numbers. I guess someone should have filled her in.
That was nuts.
Right. That's so interesting too, because I tossed her some credit last week because I said, Angela, maybe she's in a better position in this house than we think that she is because she just keeps skirting away from any real danger. And I was kind of going into tonight with that same energy. Like, here we are again. Like, Leah used the veto, like, to save her. And it was like, wait a minute. Like, she, for all of her faults, she does seem to be making some worthwhile bonds. I guess you can debate what the word worthwhile means, but it's certainly enough to keep her safe. So maybe she's starting to do a little bit better than we think, but then she was on the outside of this one. So maybe
Angela is truly an anomaly to me because like she literally makes the worst decisions. She turns on everybody she's aligned with. People are sick of her. Everybody sees that she's a liability. But when it comes to this game, she is like a roach. You cannot kill her. She just keeps, no matter what happens, every time she looks like she might be in danger, either someone else is saving her with a veto. It's happened twice now. Or she just like somehow ends up unscathed. I do not understand how she's doing it.
It's
I don't understand how she's doing it.
I know.
Especially when you consider that not only have multiple people now saved her from the block, but someone that was literally on the block with her used their veto to save her from the block. Like, it's just crazy. That's why this season has just been so much fucking fun.
This season's incredible. Like, and when Big Brother is good, it is so good. We have sat here so many times trying to get our other friends into Big Brother, and we're so embarrassed. Like, guys, I swear it's fun. I swear, I promise. It's a good show. Like, stop making fun of me. It's really good. Yes. And then to see a season like this, it's like, y'all, this is where we need to be starting people. Like, this is, I would go so far to say this is my favorite season. It's never been stale. It's never been predictable. It's been crazy.
Yeah, I mean,
favorite season.
I'm loving the season so much.
I know. I just, oh my gosh, I'm so scared.
I know. I hope that's not the kiss of death, but like, it has been an incredible preserve.
Sweeping comment. Right. Definitely my favorite of the new era.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's definitely my favorite season in a long time. And like, if I was trying to get somebody into this show, like, this is the season that I think I now would point them to,
100%.
because I feel like even like this season has had plenty of silliness and like that just hokey, like feeling that we really like.
Yes, all the things that we love about Big Brother. But go ahead.
But it's still different because it's not like last season where we had a whole comp where you had to stand under a giant nose and get snotted on and like crap like that. Like, it's like things that like make you like roll your eyes. Like, the silliness in this has all been fun to me. Like, I'm not embarrassed to share with people that I watch the show.
This should have been season 25.
Yes,
this is like the milestone season.
Can I want to just challenge that for a hot second, because like the snotting on, like, I am here for that kind of stuff. And like, I actually think it's even funnier when the gameplay is correct. Like, if you had that snotting competition now with Chelsea, like, we are absolutely determined, snot. And it's like, that is what I love about these shows. So like, I would be down for it if the gameplay was good. But like,
that is fair. That is fair, because a lot of my opinion of the season is tainted just because I feel like it ended up being such a bust. When like, it was season 25, we had Sari Fields. Like, this should have been a great season. So I feel like I kind of look at everything in more of a negative light, like, just because of that. Like,
no, I totally agree with that. But I think when I think of like quintessential, like, just good Big Brother, what made me really fall in love with this is like, no, I'm gonna win that veto and fuck you. I'm taking myself off the block, and then it's like Bowl Arena. And then, like, in their freaking tutu, and it's like there's so much on the line, and it's just these stupidest thing.
Yeah,
it's like
for sure.
Somebody walking through the living room would be like, what the fuck are you watching?
What are you
like,
watching?
You don't understand. There's so much going on. And it's like,
honestly, I hope we get Bowl Arena this season now that you've brought it up.
I love Bowl Arena.
Again, like, what this season is doing that should have been happening last year is we're getting all of the iconic competitions. Like, there's some new things happening. The arena is new. Like, there's a lot of new elements, but we're still getting like those big things that the super fan, and I think it's a testament too to the fact that like there are so many super fans in the house this year that we're getting all of that super fanny stuff.
True. Except that AI Arena is not really new. It's just like a repurposed old idea. Like, it essentially is Battle of the Block.
Sure.
Like, it's just Ainsley themed, which, if this is what Ainsley does, this is what we can credit to her, then bring her back every season, okay? I want to see Ainsley just like I want to see Julie. Yeah. It is fantastic.
I absolutely
love 3 noms on the block. Very exciting. So many burnt bridges. And I think that is what adds to the excitement of this, because they have to nominate so many people. That's what got us this scathed Joseph. And like, granted, he left, but how interesting if he didn't.
Yeah.
Like, what does that look like now for Quinn? And how do you come back from that? Because now you've got somebody who's going to be, he's definitely going to blow up whatever it was that he thought you guys had. Just kind of like now, just, I don't know, planting seeds of even more distrust in Quinn that I feel like he's still kind of struggling to get back,
It's so unfortunate because the move this week, honestly, for renomination was T-Core. Like, that was the move, because you absolutely have to weaken T-Core, Chemo, and Rubina, because there is a lot of like trios and groups happening in this game, but all of them have cracks in them. They're not all completely solid, except for that 3. Those are the 3 that you need to break up. So like T-Core would have been the smart move there.
I don't disagree, but do you think that Quinn sees Rubina as like part of that, or do you
I
think
don't
that
know. It's hard because
Right.
especially hearing like Joseph's little like interview with Julie, I don't know if he is just having a bad pulse of like what the house looks like, or if they are under the radar. I can't tell. You know what I mean? Like, I can't tell if Joseph just couldn't see it, or if no one is really seeing it.
Here's what I'm so confused about too, by the way, is just like why. And listen, there's no world in which I wanted T-Core to go on the block this week. I do not want her to be in danger. I actually might prefer T-Core to win this game over some of the people that are on my own draft team.
I love T-Core.
I love her. Yeah, I love her.
I love her.
But I guess I just don't understand why Quinn was giving a pass to T-Core about the whole Cedric vote and leaving him out of that, right? Like,
yeah.
Like why? I guess I just don't get why he's giving T-Core a pass on that, but not Chemo. Like
no, I agree. It should have been both of them,
right? Like, has there been any conversations like on feeds? Maybe Gina, I haven't seen anything. So like,
in terms of that distinction, I can't really shed light on that, and I invite people who may be watching to help us out on that, because I genuinely don't know what the difference is in his perspective between the two of them. Yeah. It has been driving me freaking bonkers this week, because it's like, I don't know. Are you making fun of me?
No, Kyle was raising his hand.
Oh, go for it.
No, I just have a thought on what I see T-Core having a little bit more value than Chemo, because T-Core has been in positions of power and she definitely has had more social influence, I feel, than Chemo. So like, if I was going to choose like how this is going to go, I don't want to put T-Core up, because if she doesn't, first of all, I don't know that she would go. And if she doesn't go, now I'm really in trouble, because she can turn all those people against me.
Well, the problem is that's what happened anyway.
It is, but
right,
a bad roll of the dice. But I think that T-Core would have been worse. Put it that way.
Right, I do agree with that, because if she doesn't go, she's coming after you, even though she is anyway now. But like, she's coming after you maybe harder because you put her up, and then like, even if she does go, that might piss off a lot of people, you know, like,
I don't know who would vote for her though.
Right.
I was saying just T-Core should have gone up, because then no matter what, you're losing someone in the trio.
From that group, yeah.
My thing more is like, it is a little crazy to me. And like, again, I literally love all 3 of them. And like, I think this is such a fun dynamic to watch. But it is driving me a little bonkers that like, particularly T-Core, but Chemo too, where like, I can't believe that Quinn would turn on us like this. We had an alliance. He's drawing a line in the sand. Why would he do that to us? That's ridiculous. And it's like, y'all, you turned on him first. Like, this is retaliation for the Cedric blindside. Like, you guys went against him and left him out of a plan, and now you're getting upset that he doesn't fully trust your alliance. Like, you guys did the thing first.
Yeah, which is definitely why I feel like if you're gonna put one of them up, you got to put both of them up.
I agree.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I putting Chemo up, I feel like instantly the visionaries are over. Like,
right, and if you put both of them up, there's still, even if something happens with AI Arena or whatever, like somebody's not going. Like somebody, it's just a higher chance of somebody. Like, what if they both stay? Like, oh my gosh, and it's like super over. Oh gosh,
and I feel like Quinn literally, like, he just screwed everything up this week for himself, I feel like, because he pissed off Chemo, T-Core, and Rubina. If Joseph had stayed, he had pissed Joseph off, who was another ally, and it was all under this idea of like, oh, these people voted to get rid of Tucker, so I'm not going to put any of them up. And I'm like, all right, well, if Joseph was so important to you then, though, like, why not like Mackenzie or something? Like, why? Like, not that I want to see Mackenzie go either, because I've really been enjoying her lately. But at the same time, I'm like, all right, if Joseph is so important to you, then why take that risk
Joseph
at
is
all?
not the move.
No, Joseph.
It wasn't the move
at all. It was not at all. I can confidently say that this this HOH week was a bona fide fail.
It's rough.
I don't see who this truly served, really. Like, who benefited from Joseph going? Like, this was just a product of the fact that he was up against chemo. But otherwise,
well, I also think because Chelsea once again, right, played a big role. I think it was Chelsea and T-Core, but Chelsea did play a big role, and we saw that conversation between Chelsea and Joseph where he kept telling her like, "You're so dangerous in this game, and it's your social game, and this and that." And I feel like Chelsea really didn't like hearing all that, and maybe felt like if this guy gets power, he's clearly going to come after me because he thinks I'm amazing at this game.
True. Yeah.
So,
and that's the problem too, is that like this edit gave you the Chelsea piece of it, but it didn't give you a lot of the other pieces of it, which is this whole, I mean, like the whole game in general, but specifically this week, Joseph has been kind of doing that with everybody, where he's been having he's been having a lot of conversations where he's going up to people and straight up telling them, like, first of all saying, oh yeah, like if it was me and Tucker, I can beat him in competitions. I was winning against him in the social game. It would have been totally fine. He was telling people to their faces, like, if it's me and you in the final two, my jury management is really, really solid. Like I can beat you. No problem.
It's like we haven't even gotten to jury.
He's also been like, he was doing this thing where like, and this has been happening for a couple of weeks, I feel like, where he's talking to people and he's like, yeah, in week 2, when I had the option to do this, I did that. And he's basically giving his final 2 speech to people to be like, yeah, these are all of the things that I've done in the game. And the problem with that is A, you're going to piss people off. B, jury hasn't started yet, so you don't have to do jury management pre-jury because you're going to piss people off. C, you're telling people the reasons why, in your perspective, you're going to win the game. So obviously they're not going to want you to get that far. But also it's just like the delusion and the cockiness that he's been giving everybody else was pissing people off. They're like, why are you going to tell me to my face? Yeah, well, I'm going to take you to final 2 and I'm going to win and it'll be fine. I'm like, okay, go then.
Right. Yeah, I gotta say, like, it's so funny because a couple weeks ago, I was going to give Joseph a point. Decided not to because I thought that he didn't seem to be on anyone's radar at that point. Then last week I was like, you know what, I was going to give him a point, I took it back, but I'm going to give Joseph a point this week because I feel like he doesn't seem to be he doesn't seem to be in any danger really. And then this week he just said all of the dumbest possible things to everybody he could.
His social game was so rough.
That whole conversation with Angela in the backyard, about how I don't really see a way forward for you. I don't even know how you're still here, and blah.
That's
blah,
how he
blah.
was speaking to everybody.
And then that's why it's so satisfying too to just see him go out immediately after that, being like just sitting there in the backyard, sunbathing, so cocky and confident. Telling other people that you don't understand how they're even still here anymore.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, thank God you were definitely the person to leave this week.
And it's like when that's happening and he's an option on the block, like of course people are going to want to be like, all right, get him out of here,
Yeah, that's totally fair. It's just what a shame. Not how we would have wanted him to go out. I had high hopes. That's certainly why I put him on my team. Certainly a good time to now bring this up that my team is in peril. Okay. We are under siege. We're in trouble. We are in trouble. But I will say I do believe in my leading ladies.
Mm-hmm.
Those are two solid.
It's solid too, yeah.
They are. Yeah. Listen, you only need one. And I'm happy that these are the two that I have in the race. I think that T-Core is in a very strong position for all the reasons that we had kind of said before. Like, no one's really looking to put her up. She's very connected, and she is still doing her, the T-Core classic, the
Yeah.
The way that she moves her way through this house,
she
offers nothing to anybody, and she collects information,
so
and she it's really wild.
Yep, really good.
I also feel like Mackenzie, she's proven herself in competitions, and that could make her a little bit of a threat. But I feel like with who's left, and when you think about the last 2 votes, right? She was one of the people that voted out Tucker, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now she was on the side that voted out Joseph. There might be some people in there now, like a T-Core or a Chelsea, that are like, hey, let's pull Mackenzie in. So I think her position might be getting. I think
I think it's getting stronger.
Yeah, I think she was in rough shape in the beginning of the game when Matt was still there and all that stuff. But I feel like each week, I feel like Mackenzie has gotten into a little bit of a better and better standing with people in there.
She's another one that's so interesting to me too, because like if you watch the feeds, she like every once in a while she'll cam talk, and also like just like her conversations with other people. She in her head, like everyone on BB Twitter is like, oh, our Delulu queen, because she will walk around and be like, I am running this house. I have absolutely everybody in the palm of my hand. I'm the smartest person in this game, and I am the person that's at the top of the power structure. And it's like, girly, you're absolutely none of those things. However,
definitely not. Yeah, definitely not.
But she's not really in as much danger as I feel she once was, and she is like slowly gaining steam. So like while she's not nearly as strong of a player,
she is gaining
right.
What's the word that Gina uses all the time?
Agency.
But so while she's definitely not in the positioning that she believes herself to be, she is getting stronger. So she's another one that's so interesting to watch, because it's like your reads are all over the place, but like the math is wrong, but the answer is right, you know?
Right. Like the math is coming around, looking around like, I don't know how you got there. I'm checking your work. Right. I don't know how you got there, but you know what? You're not wrong. So whatever.
Yeah. You're not wrong. You're just not right. Like, I don't know what's happening.
As long as we all get to the same place.
Right.
Right. Yeah. And I just think it's really interesting that, again, like she... I do you think it was just Kino's speech that flipped it, or was there some other things that maybe she had heard that made her feel like it was more even? You know what I mean? Because you had to have gone in there. You must have still been on the fence if that last minute speech swayed you. That means even just listening to it, you still didn't know, which means everything you knew before that, like, what was it? Like, what does Mackenzie know? Because you get minutes with Mackenzie.
It seemed like even BB Twitter was like, wait, we're getting Joseph out right now? Like, no one saw this coming. And it's like, typically on eviction days, feeds will cut like halfway through the day, and they will be cut until after the West Coast airing. So those last couple of hours of the day, I am interested to know what they looked like, because literally none of us knew where that was going.
Love it.
Yeah, I can't wait to see like that Sunday episode where they show us like what.
I hope we get a lot.
I hope I really do. But Mackenzie, you could tell that the way that pause in that diary room, you could tell that it was like a flip of a coin what name she was going to say. Like that's what it felt like. Like I was sitting there like, what are you going to say? It felt like an eternity. You know, it was like one of those moments where you're sitting there and it's like say a name. Say
something.
I know it was only like 2 seconds probably, but like it felt like such a long time. And like I feel like all of these votes, even the ones that have ended up a little lopsided, like they've still somehow felt so intense. Every one of these votes, these eviction votes.
Because for once, we're not just doing, well, this is what the House said. This is what the HA wants. No, people are doing what they want to do. All right.
Yeah.
And it's also
the
like
democratic process.
I think it's also a product of the arena, because even us as a fan base going in to every single Thursday night, we had no idea what was going to happen. Like normally by...
This is how the game just should be played, pre-Joe.
Yeah, and like the veto meeting.
All the time.
I agree.
Every Thursday is so exciting. No, I'm sorry, I kind of.
No, you're good. You're good.
I'm just going to say that emphatically agreeing with what you're saying.
Because I was going to say that the veto meeting happens on Monday mornings. So like by the time you hit Tuesday, the latest, you pretty much have it locked in of who's going home. Sometimes a crazy scramble of a campaign can save somebody, but like. By that, like, middle part of the week, it's typically like, this is how it's going to go. We, every single week so far, have hit Thursday morning and been like, all right, so what, if this person wins, what happens that, like, we just never know what's going on. And it's so much more fun that way.
I totally agree. Yeah. So much more fun. And speaking of that, obviously we ended up with Joseph and Kimo, but I have a question, like, what do you think, specifically Mackenzie, too, if this was Rabina and Joseph instead of Kimo, like, do you think that Joseph stays? Or
I don't know.
Well, I don't know. Well, you had two questions there. because you mentioned Mackenzie first.
Well, because that's what I mean.
I think Mackenzie still does Joseph. That's what I think Mackenzie does.
So okay,
does the rest of the house do that? I don't know.
Right. I just don't know, because if we're talking about how Chemo's last minute speech might have swayed Mackenzie, does Rabina have that ability to sway Mackenzie? I don't know. I don't know if she does.
I don't think the speech would have mattered at that point. I think that Mackenzie would have stood on just females.
Okay. Okay.
At least at this stage.
Yeah. That's totally fair.
I don't think she would have done that.
Yeah.
I think she could still. I think she would think she could still appeal to her in a different way.
Mm. Which also, the literal second I saw what competition they were going to be playing, I said, "Oh, Rubina has got this on lock." She's so tiny. She was flipping around that thing. I was like, "Girlie's gonna win this hands down."
Yeah.
Not a doubt in my mind.
There was a point she went flying around one of those bars, and I thought she was going to fall, and she landed right on her feet and just kept going. I was like, "This is."
She was whipping around that thing like crazy.
Yeah, I was like, "This is Rubina's competition." Which is funny because, like, even though I felt super confident in her winning, I still didn't feel like, oh, this is not an equitable comp. I still felt like anybody had a chance.
Yeah.
Because she might waste time running down there trying to see if she can make it, and then as she's doing that, someone else gets just a couple of pieces of the rope out.
And that's the thing too, is like I was very, very confident in her ability to untangle herself, but I did have a moment where I was like, all right, well, she's also really tiny though, so would she need more rope than the other guys would? Because they can just like, Joseph's like a lanky guy. He could just like reach over and maybe put the thing in easier than she can.
The actual thing was like attached to their bodies, right? Like it wasn't like, so like if you had a longer reach, you could have potentially gotten it in there.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. Interesting.
I felt really good about her because she was in the purple lane. Okay. That's my color. That is also the color of royalty.
That's right.
I was like, Rubina, she's in purple. When she put her fist on her hip, okay.
Oh, yeah, she was standing there like...
She said, fuck with me.
She had a very, like, Katniss Everdeen.
Yeah.
Like, and I was like, she's got this. I'm like, she is so ready to crush it.
She was like, I dare you.
I'm here representing District 13.
Regal Rabina.
Yeah. Yes.
She's another one where like her like little preseason package, I was like, I can go either way with her. I'm either gonna love her or I'm gonna hate her. I cannot decide which way is gonna go. I am loving her.
Yeah,
I was scared she could spin off into like annoying superfan territory, like Quinn.
Well, why you gotta do that? Why you gotta go there?
I was hoping for like a reflex where I'd be like, oh yeah, no. That's what I was looking for, but
you could get me.
I didn't get it. Yeah, I tried. Ooh, you're sharp at 10:06. All right. Wait, hold on. What do we want to do first? You want to talk about Julie?
Yeah, let's do it.
You want to do your points? We'll do the points at the end.
Sure.
Let's do Julie first. I feel like that's going to be a short one.
Oh, Julie. Oh, Julie. What are we wearing this week?
Those pictures of her are so good. I love those pictures.
Well, I got to tell you, the negativity of the audio certainly does cascade into what we had tonight. I was immediately done the second I saw Levi's. I'm out.
They started zooming out on her, and I saw like the buckle of the jeans, and I said, "Oh, they're not going to be happy. They're not going to like it."
I can't wear jeans to work. Neither can you. Not. Absolutely not. Totally unacceptable. This jacket, very cheap. Looks like she found from the bargain bin at Savers. Okay, like completely unacceptable. This outfit is hands down atrocious. I have no words for how disgusted.
I just don't understand. Like, you are the host of this show on CBS.
An internationally watched show.
Yeah, like why are you showing up like you were running late to work from like a PTA meeting?
Right.
I don't understand. Like, this is a mom outfit. Like, I just came from the parent-teacher conference.
Yeah, the parent. Yeah,
I almost didn't make it. I almost didn't make it by 8.
Right, I didn't even bake these cupcakes. I swung by the Stop and Shop, and I got these out of here. Don't mind the loud plastic crinkling as we open the 6-packer. She really tried it. She figured she'd swing by the CBS studios and do the eviction on the way home. Unacceptable.
Wow.
It's like she was driving her kid through like the McDonald's drive-through and was like, "Oh crap! It's Thursday. It's Thursday."
Shit! I almost forgot. I need that Happy Meal now, honey. Now. Here's your burger. We gotta get on stage. And she's like running down. Clonk, 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 clonk.
Where are my cards? Where are my cards? Is my name
Give
on
me the
there?
cards. Under the cards. I don't know what show this is.
Wild.
So I give it a nod.
Wow.
So stupid.
Wow.
The lady, Regina Martin. What say
Yeah,
you? What say you?
Julie girl, I'm so sorry. I'm
Uh-oh.
so sorry.
Uh-oh.
It's gonna be a not from me. I'm so
Oof.
sorry.
Female empowerment takes a hard hit.
I'm
on this
sorry,
Thursday the
Julie.
5th.
Also, can we just say, like,
she sounds so upset to be giving her a nod. Like, he sounds
I
so
feel
sad.
bad, but also, can we just,
I feel bad.
I don't know if this was related to her look or what, but like, can we talk about? I feel like I'm giving Mackenzie vibes. It's like, what do you mean?
It's like, what are you talking about?
What does that
Mackenzie,
mean?
Listen,
What are you referring to?
Mackenzie shows up like a fucking supermodel to everything that goes on.
She is
even cries
gorgeous.
pretty. Like, what are you talking? Mackenzie's be like, what did Julie say? Come charging out the front door, be like, I know you're crazy. Give me them cards.
I sat there for a second and I was like, does she mean her attitude? Does she mean her outfit? Does she mean, like, what is she talking about?
Does she mean her faith in God? Because it certainly isn't the fashion, I'll tell you that.
Yeah,
Oh, man.
Does she wear anything like this?
I loved Mackenzie when, like, they had their whole little, like, scramble or whatever, and then she was like, oh, like, everybody come sit down on the couches, and Mackenzie had to kind of, like, she was like, this dress is very hard to sit in, and she had to kind of, like, plank herself back into the couch. Did you see that?
Yes, I did.
It was a great, her dress was great. She looked awesome tonight.
She's
Mackenzie.
stunning.
Yeah.
She always looks awesome, though.
Yeah.
Even when she's just walking around in sweats, it's like, geez, girl. Jeez, girl.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't look like that on my best days. What are we doing?
Well, she was like that on a random Tuesday morning. Yeah. I did not, Liz. I did not see the interview that Tucker had with Julie.
Oh, she said something that sounds
I know
biblical.
what she's talking about. Because Tucker's little like motto that he said it on the show a couple of times was like, to thine own self be true. And he was talking to Julie and he's like, he mentioned something about to thine own self be true, and she goes, that sounds biblical to me. And I was like, girly, that is from Hamlet. That is Shakespeare, my dear. And Tucker just kind of uncomfortably was like, yeah.
She heard thine and she's like, okay.
Yeah. Hasn't she said sounds biblical to someone else in this cast this season too?
She did.
During a vote, I think, like during an eviction.
Yeah, I don't
Or
remember.
maybe to
why,
Chelsea.
though.
Was it Chelsea?
It could have been.
Oh my God,
it definitely
who
could
was
have been.
it?
You know, she can't wait to have Chelsea on God 101. Oh, she can't wait.
Yeah.
Oh, she can't wait. She's going to be chomping at the bit. Mackenzie, too, but I feel like Chelsea's going to be like top for her.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Mackenzie
I
right
wish
after.
I could remember who else she said it to.
Well, that's Miss Julie.
Ugh, I don't remember.
Miss Julie.
Liz, not everything is biblical, Julie.
Well, it reminds me, I don't remember if we talked about this on this season or not, but like it reminds me of when Claire got evicted from 24 and she was like, I would just say, like, to everybody who's like, upset about the cookout, to like give them the grace of understanding that some things are bigger than the game. And she went, grace. So you're a child of God. And Claire was like,
I know that.
Uh-huh.
Like, actually, not at all.
Yeah, Claire's like friend was on her social media like, girly, she is the least religious person you're ever gonna be. She's like cry laughing watching the interview.
Ooh, terrible. All right, so let's get into our favorites. Once again, get it. What's happening? No one cares.
What?
More people care about voting for Julie's fit than who your favorite is this week. Get it together. # first name who you love. Scan the QR code. Let's get into it. And we're going to remove it because it's getting embarrassing because nobody gives 2 fucks. But what do you all think about how things went this week? Who are you giving your points to?
I know exactly who I'm giving my points to.
It's all right. Kick us in. You kick us off. You kick us off.
And they are all they're all ladies. I'm giving 1 point to Leah.
1 point to Leah.
Yeah.
And tell us why.
Well, she won the veto. I said last week I felt like she was finally starting to play this game because for a long time I felt like she didn't even know that a game was happening in this house. So I felt like she finally was getting into it. She won a veto this week, and she made everything possible with the eviction that happened tonight. But I can't give her more than 1 point because it was T-Core and Chelsea. I'm giving T-Core 2 points, Chelsea 3 points, because they really, I think, were the driving force behind this vote to evict Joseph. Even though it didn't happen the way we expected, because I thought for sure it was going to be Chelsea, Rubina, T-Core, and Angela that voted Joseph out. It ended up being Mackenzie, but still, it happened. This is what they wanted, and they got their way. So that's it. Leah, excellent. T-Core, Chelsea. Those are my picks.
Very nice. Very nice. Now, what does Gina say?
Oh, you go first. Gina I need a second.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure you do need a second because I know you want to toss points to Quinn, but
she
not a week is going by without Quinn getting at least 1 point from me.
I just can't wait to hear your justification for him really getting any.
Yeah, he had more power in that house than anyone this week. Had the worst week of anyone somehow, and you are going to give him at least 1 point.
Okay, let's let Kyle go first, like we said, and then I will tell you exactly what I have to tell you.
I was actually about to even defend Gina a little bit, like, well, I could get behind him getting a point.
I'll state my piece in a minute.
Just
I just got to figure out my other 2 point guys.
He did win the HOH, and he didn't get a point for that last week, right? Whatever points he got last week was not based on that. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, you did win the power, so at least that. But I will not be giving a point to him.
You tell us who, and then
I will,
and I'll go.
I shall, because that was already decided. It didn't matter what anybody said.
Yes. Ferris Basal disagrees with Gina.
I am convinced that Ferris hasn't even heard a word of this podcast. He just came in not knowing what we're talking about and saying Gina's wrong.
All we talked about is the fact that you don't have an opinion yet, and he disagrees. I just love the pre-disagreements.
Yeah. And I love you, Ferris.
I also love that you're here on the night that I wore red. That just worked out very nicely. I'm giving my 1 point to T-Core. However,
okay,
all right, 1 point to T-Core. She's got a good position in the house. I just like her. I like the way she talks. I enjoy hearing her speak. So she's very fun. 2 points to Mackenzie. All right, 2 points.
Nice.
To Mackenzie, because as we said, she's becoming very intriguing in this house, and you just cannot deny that she has some power. Like, I definitely thought of her as like this person who wasn't really dialed into the game, and tonight realizing that had it not been for the way she voted, we may not have gotten what we got tonight.
Yeah.
You know,
she was so pivotal at the end of the
day.
She
was, and it's like, wait a minute, was the first vote the most important vote? The one that they put before the commercial break, like it didn't matter? Yeah, right. Jokes on production.
Right.
So, like,
honestly, if I could have given a point to one other person, it would have been Mackenzie.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. And my 3 points, I'm your favorite consistent bitch. It's going to Rubina. She's got me amped. I mean, I was up screaming, jumping up and down. Like, you would have thought, again, the Super Bowl was going on. Nope. All Rubina did was win Ainsley's arena. So she's just so fun to watch. And again, I think she's in a great position, even still.
I actually think she could be in a better position now because Tucker left. Not that I wanted him to leave, but the fact that he's not in there and she's not a showman anymore.
Because the only reason anyone saw her as a threat was because of her connection with Tucker. Now that that's over and Quinn's HOH is over, enough can happen up in this next week that people are going to forget that she was ever really attached with him. Like that once you hit jury and like you it's a whole different game now.
Yeah, and that's sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, in another season with a 9-person jury, she could still be in danger because even though the showmance is over, Tucker is out. That's still a vote for Rubina in jury if she makes it to the end. The fact that he's totally out of the game now helps her tremendously, I think.
Yeah, the game's brand new after this episode.
And see, that's the thing that I thought was so interesting about Rubina specifically this week, because I can see why you should and shouldn't target her. Because, like, on the one hand, yeah, a bunch of you guys just sent out her showmance. So she is going to be out for revenge. She's going to be out for blood. She's going to want to take people down to make up for that. But at the same time, in taking out her showmance, you also took out her number one ally. So, you know, Chemo and T-Core ended up kind of bringing her in. But she started this week almost as a free agent. So, like, she didn't even necessarily have a lot of status with which to do anything. So, like, it was just, like, it could have gone really either way for her, you know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So that brings us right back.
Okay.
What say the House of Morgina Martin? And
Morgina
Martin. Morgina Martin. And what order are you starting in?
Okay, I'm gonna go 3, 2, 1.
3, 2, 1. Because she says F John's theory.
I just like going 3, 2, 1. I'm sorry, but
terrible.
Don't be.
So okay, my 3 points are actually gonna go to Leah.
Wow.
I know.
Wow.
It's not it's not just because she's sick nasty and looked really cool in yellow.
Is that why you're wearing yellow now?
It's not why I'm wearing yellow. It's not why I'm wearing yellow. I wore this
I'm
today.
here too. I'm done. Here too. Yeah.
I genuinely wore this today.
This podcast is canceled.
But it is because, you know, like we said, Leah's been playing kind of a floaters game for a while. But I think a lot of that is because she didn't really have the opportunity to have a lot of agency in the game yet. Like, she hadn't won anything. She hadn't really had any status. I still maintain that a lot of the reason why she was safe last week is because people like Quinn and like Joseph did a lot of the work for her to try to keep her off of the block. But this week, she really stood out to me because while she is kind of using her strategy of, like, flirt my way into a good social standing, she had the opportunity to appease her number one ally and the HOH by using the veto to do what would work best for her, Quinn, and Joseph, and instead said, you know what? I'm going to do what I think is going to benefit my game. I'm going to do what I want to do. And they're still not mad at her. Like, Joseph's whole thing.
Quinn doesn't care at all anymore.
Joseph was mad.
Joseph
was mad at Quinn. Joseph was mad at Quinn for putting him up on the block, but he never really seemed mad at Leah for being the reason why there was a place to put him.
Right, like I think we saw both Joseph and Quinn, right, like talking in the HOH room with Leah, and then separately in like DRs that they had, and both of them were like, I'm a little annoyed with Leah for using the veto, but well, it's okay. She's great. I love her. And then Quinn being like, I begged her not to put it up. I literally got on my knees.
I was gonna say, Quinn was literally on his hands and knees, I need Angela to go home this week. And she went, oh, Angela? Yeah, I'm going to take her off, actually.
Yeah. And then after it, Quinn's like, I literally begged her. But it's okay. I love her. She's great.
Like, the fact that she came out of that completely unscathed is wild, but you got to give her props for it, you know?
Totally.
Okay. All right. I'm here for it. Good.
Okay, see, my number 2, I am torn between 2 people. But
is Quinn one of them?
No, Quinn's not one of them. But honestly, I'm gonna give my 2 points to Angela. Because because to Joseph's point, while he shouldn't have said it to her face, I also don't understand how she's still here right now.
Any of us do. No.
She does literally everything wrong. We went through this already, but she does literally everything wrong. She says all the wrong thing. She causes chaos. She already last night was like, I don't trust Leah. I think Leah's out to get me. When Leah is literally the reason why she's not going home. Like, she's already doing the Angela thing of like, my number one ally is actually attacking me. I don't know how she still managed to be here, but she still managed to be here. And honestly, other than Quinn, I don't think anybody's even really took a shot at her to try to get her out. Like, I think she's kind of coasted through pretty well.
No, totally. And exactly what you just said is why I'm a little nervous for Leah. Like,
Well,
I'm liking Leah right now, but like it's true. Like, first it
Anyone
was
who gets too close to
yeah.
her, it's like
First
the
it was
kiss of
Quinn.
death. Yep.
Can you imagine how different Angela's game might be right now if she wasn't an idiot and like and she didn't just automatically assume that it was who Quinn and who else
wow.
that brought her that brought her that alliance, right?
Joseph.
Oh, it was Quinn and Joseph. Okay. Can you imagine how different Angela's game and this whole game and season
Kyle's
could be
having a hard
now,
time.
right? how crazy like this whole thing could be, right? If Angela actually believed them because they were telling the truth, right? Like
I love that Kyle's screen is off, but I still hear him like wheezing.
Yeah.
Oh God, I was having such a hard time.
But like,
can you imagine how different Angela's game would be if she wasn't an idiot? Like
I mean, she was the HOH. Everyone was loving her. Well, Quinn and Joseph come to her with an alliance that they're totally serious about. Like, they are actually not lying. They're totally serious about this.
Yeah.
And she just assumed, she comes down after the whole Crazy Eyes thing and goes, "Enter the people who came to my room last night. Your performance was great for a bad movie."
Like,
a
low budget movie.
I'm sorry. A low budget movie. And like, it's just thank you, Liz. I have been very blunt lately.
Johnson and Rare for me is scaring me.
I know. I've been a little sassy. I've been stressed out, okay? But okay, so but like, just think about it. Think about how the trajectory of this game could have changed and how Angela's game could have changed if Angela had just believed Quinn and Joseph because they were telling the truth. God. Like, it started with Quinn, then it was Tucker. Is it now going to be Leah? And that's what makes me nervous.
Is like, because we talked about this a little bit last week. Like, whether or not she believed Quinn and Joseph, it's still a cycle that she goes through with every single person she's aligned with. I think if it wasn't Quinn and Joseph, it would have been literally anybody that approached her about anything. She always has that moment where she's like, "These are my people. I'm aligned with them. Actually, I think you're a snake. Never mind. Now I'm aligned with this person. But also, wait, you might be a snake too." And it's just this constant back and forth.
Yeah, and this is why she was on Dr. Phil.
What?
Wait a minute now. Can we dive into Angela for a second? Let's suspend what you already think. Right? Suspend it.
It's suspended.
Open minds. Hum. I'm gonna open your minds with this sound effect.
Feeling light.
My mind is open.
Wait,
Angela had older house guests with a different type of influence socially.
Sure.
Is it possible that what we are describing as chaos is actually like maybe planned chaos?
Like controlled chaos.
Yes. Like there was a world in which, she is saying like, you know what? We see oftentimes that people who go far in games like this are often burned by the person close to them. Like, it's always that moment they got blindsided. If I beat you to the punch and like, we're doing whatever we're doing and like, I just keep burning you. I don't trust you. You're out of here. I don't trust you. You're out of here. But I'm using that mom way of being to kind of like draw new people in. I can just keep churning out the young people, and I just keep doing this thing until I get to the end. Like, there's a world in which this is all her plan, because every time
I do believe that. I just can't believe it's working.
There's no tear. She never cries. Like, she just goes
right. My favorite. One of my favorite
sounds and faces.
Yeah, one of my favorite moments from this entire week was all the way back in the first episode when Chemo and Angela are at the island in the kitchen, and Angela is like fake crying like she always does, being like, "Don't worry, like, you and Tucker will still be best buds when you get out of here." And Chemo, not even looking at her, like sipping his coffee, just goes, "I voted for him to stay." And she starts to like pretend to cry, and then the camera zooms in on her eyes, and you can see her covering her face and just going, and her eyes totally dry, totally. And you could see her looking around, like,
Yes.
yeah.
And that's why I 100% think that it is calculated in a strategy. I can't believe it's working. Like, I 100%
See,
believe
I don't think that it
plan.
would work if she wasn't the age she is. I think that is what draws
Maybe.
people in, because it kind of it's a false sense of security. You think of what would you have done as 22 years old. You think 50-year-olds are sweet. Oh, this
Mm.
Right,
sweet
right.
old lady. The closer you get to 50, like
Sure.
me, it's like, wait a minute, I know all you suckers ain't sweet. So,
Sure.
yeah, it's a little
She,
different. So it's like,
yeah.
almost makes me rethink how I did my points here.
She's the oldest person in there, and she does, in a lot of ways, act like the biggest toddler.
Right, except that if
But it's controlled.
everything we're saying here is said to be true, if it actually is true, then it's actually not toddler behavior, and it's actually like pretty
Brilliant.
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it makes me excited to be getting maybe more older people as we go forward. Because I still say some of the most exciting moments really came from Rennie and Jerry.
Yes.
And
Yes.
and like especially that
She
fight
gives
with
me
Libra.
big Rennie vibes. Yeah.
Yes, and it's like, but Rennie, I mean, Rennie would actually fight you. Is like that's the difference with Rennie. Like Angela, like if it actually got to be physical, I think she would run in the backyard. Rennie, she would go right to that kitchen, find that butcher block, and she would fuck you
Yeah.
up. You understand? Like you,
100%.
like she would end it for once and for all. Like I wouldn't fuck with nobody, Rennie. She literally knows where I sleep. No way. No way.
It was like a week or two ago, I had the thought where I was like, oh my God, that's exactly who she reminds me of.
And that was one of the best seasons we had seen. And it was
another really strong season.
We had these older people. So I just think that Angela, maybe she knows a little bit more how to I don't want to say monetize, but use that to her benefit. She's definitely exciting to watch.
She's a CBS plant, according to a lot of people.
I don't think
there was also is. Did you see there was a clip of her on the live feeds? I don't remember who she was talking to, but she was like, just imagine for a second if like somebody in here was actually somebody that was recruited by CBS to just cause chaos, and they were never supposed to win the game, and they were only put here just to like make the season crazy. And Angela, and whoever she was talking to was like, no, I don't think that's possible. And she goes, oh, it's possible. And then the feeds cut. So everybody online was like, hold up. Wait a minute.
Oh, that's where that came from?
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting.
No, that's not happened this past week.
Oh, if it was her, she wouldn't say that, though. Like,
I mean, wouldn't she, though?
I don't know.
Yeah, she's causing chaos.
Yeah, right. But at the same time, I also think that she would know better than to say that, because that would then, if she loves being on TV as much as she says she does, then she wouldn't do anything that would jeopardize her potential to be on another show going forward. Like, I don't know.
That happened like a couple of days ago. The thoughts of her being a CBS plant go back to like since we saw the clips of her on The Price is Right and on Let's Make a Deal, Dr. Phil.
I did see all that. I don't know if all that's true though. I mean,
I wouldn't put it past them, but I also do think that she just genuinely like people see her submission videos and they're like, "Oh, this girl is
chaos." Yeah, she's clearly chaotic.
TV. She's a Mormon. Like it's always fun.
Any audition tape that she submits is going to get
Mormon's a good TV.
It's going to get a good look. Yeah, because
it is. Like we had. Do you remember Julie from The Real World? I think that was like Real World New Orleans, with Melissa and. Oh gosh, I mean we're really going back now, but I mean like Julie, I mean she gave us fantastic television. She was Mormon. I love Mormons on my TV. I don't know. They are FUN, capital F, capital U, capital N, because they stand strong in their convictions and they will let you know. Put them on. Put them on.
Put them on.
Put them on. Put them on. It's good times. Who are you giving a point to?
Wow, we went way off the rails. I forgot we were still doing my points.
Listen, I might have a beatbox, but I am on task. Oh, you can't see. Whatever, who cares?
I believe you.
Correct. I mean,
My one last singular point, of course, is going to Dear Quinnifer, and I will tell you why. I will tell you why. His let's be real.
You're still trying to come up with a reason.
No. It's like how do I want to start this conversation? Because like, let's be real. We can all agree, baby girl's strategic game, doo-doo, is bad. Is a bad social strategic game, but his social game is honestly not getting a lot of shine in the edit, because there were multiple times this week you saw, especially right when he made his nominations, when Chemo was seen as the person on the block. T-Core was on a freaking tear. She was like, I've had it with him. He is my target next week. We're getting him out of here. It's not going to happen. This whole big thing. T-Core was ready to cut him like right then and there. And she was like, no, we have to get him out of here. I want no part of working with him. I want nothing to do with this. And then like the next day, she was like, I can't stay mad at him. He's so fun and he's such a good guy. It's like, I know, like, it's probably just what was best for his game. Like, I don't know. And every single time that people get mad at his strategic decisions, they cannot stay mad at him for more than like a day, because he is, call him what you want, call him annoying, call him cringe, call him whatever. He's the heart of that house. And they love him in there. They love the energy that he brings. They think that he's this like really great, kind, funny, fun person. They love him in there. And I do think that I definitely think that he's got a lot of problems this week coming up. Like he's in very real danger. But there is a piece of me that wonders if like he's going to be able to schmooze his way out of being the main target, or like hopefully he like wins the veto or something. But like, I don't know. I don't think he's totally dead in the water, because I do think his social game kind of carries him.
That's fair. I just so one of my thoughts is that like, I guess similar to what we were saying about Angela, where like she'll like latch on to someone and they save her, and like she's working so closely with them, and then she out of nowhere will just betray them for no reason, and they go home. Like, Quinn has now been in power twice. I mean, like, technically it was a secret HOH the first time, but like everybody knew it was him.
Yeah.
And on both both weeks that he was in power, one of his biggest allies went home, and it's like, all right, Quinn's got a great social game, but every time that he has a little bit of power, one of his friends goes home.
Well, that's what I'm saying. His strategic game is really rough. He's not playing well strategically at all.
But I wonder if his strategic game will start to affect his social game, just by the fact that's like, all right, well, because I think T-Core even said it this week too. She was like, all right, Quinn for some reason put up Chemo, so who's to say he's not going to do it to me? So like, as much as like his social game has been helping him, throughout this, even though he's made mistakes, like, I wonder if at some point the strategic part will start to affect the social part, where it's like, all right, I like Quinn, but like it seems like he screws over people that he's working with. Not that he means to do it, but just that like it seems to be every time he's working with someone, he makes a dumb decision, and then someone that he's working with goes home. Like, I don't know. That's all. That's my thought.
I'm really, really interested to see what the house structure looks like this week, because like I said earlier, he does deserve a lot of the credit for keeping Leah off the block last week. He did a lot of campaigning for her. He really, really like stuck his neck out to save her. And Leah and Quinn seemed really, really, really close this week. And I also have a theory. I know we're seeing a lot of like the friend zone segments or whatever. I genuinely do think there's a tiny little part of Leah that genuinely is into him. She just doesn't want to be. So she tries to like gaslight herself into not being into him. Because I see glimmers on the live feeds and I'm like, there's a little something here. But that aside,
She does look very comfy in his HOH bed sometimes.
Well, and that's what I was getting at. Like, they got really, really, really close this week. She was constantly in the HOH room, but she does kind of cozy up to everybody who wins HOH. So I am really interested to see, going into this next week, knowing that Quinn is most likely going to be public enemy number one, is she going to just cozy up to the next HOH and then continue playing as she's been playing, and she's not really going to think anything of it? Or is she going to now repay the fact that he rode so hard for her last week, try to keep him safer this week, and continue aligning herself with him, especially now losing Joseph, who is her other kind of insulation in the game? Or is it just going to be HOH hopping and she's going to kind of connect herself to whoever's in power this week? I genuinely don't know which way it'll go.
Yeah, I honestly don't know either. I don't even know what else to follow that up with, because I just genuinely am interested to see what happens. Because that definitely was a big thought of mine, is that, like, Leah, I thought she had a pretty good week. Like I said, I'm feeling better about Leah in the game. She won a veto. She used it against the HOH's wishes. Like, she feels like she's really playing the game now. But also, as a result of all that, one of her biggest shields and allies left the game. So, like, I am curious to see where Leah's game goes from here, for sure.
I'm curious to see where Leah's game goes, but I'm also this is a long time ago in the conversation, but you know, when you think about T-Core and Chemo, I think they need to take a step back and like kind of look at themselves a little bit more. I'm going to give Quinn a little bit of credit here in terms of why you'd even want to put Chemo up, because like you did leave him out of a vote. So you want to talk about like what's happening with the Visionaries, and it's like, well, you know, you've left him out of things, so why would he be sitting here believing that the Visionaries is as valid as you all say it is? So if they can have a moment where they can kind of accept that for themselves and say like, okay, we didn't do right by that one. You responded in kind, right? Because it does make it in that regard, it kind of does make sense to put Chemo up. And it's like, well, I don't know what we are, because you said we had a final 3, and now you made a plan well before we get to numbers like that that left me out of things. So if we can both wipe the slate clean, or the 3 of us rather, there's a possibility in which that's not necessarily dead, because these are all people who do understand the mechanics of the game, and one can understand, like, you know what, it actually, maybe it does serve us at this stage, especially because Quinn did put Chemo up. There is a world in which it's like, well, no one would believe, if they did have a suspicion of us, they don't have it anymore. Which means we can kind of go back to what we were doing, if now we can all just say, hey, we're not going to play that kind of game anymore. We're not going to do that.
I got you. You got me. Now we're clean slate.
That's it. Now we're done. We did what we did. You did what you did. We're done. I see a path for Quinn forward that way. And if that's the case, because I do think, I think right now you need to be in T-Core's good favor. I think she's, I mean, my points went the way that they did because I'm cheering for Rubina, because I feel like she's in an underdog situation.
Right.
But when I said I was torn between 2 people, it was Angela and Rubina.
Yeah, because I do think that T-Core, she's in a very, very strong position socially, and she's not really somebody that you don't want to be on the same side of. So I do think she can set some things into motion.
No, I totally agree. Yeah, with everything you just said.
Less moments for the dead poll that no one thinks about. I guess everyone's just satisfied. No one has.
I know. I'm like, our feed's back up. Where is everybody?
What's happening? I mean, you're here listening, but you don't give 2 craps about the poll.
Yeah, we can see all the people watching.
I know you're out there.
Yeah,
we see heard, friends.
We can literally see the number.
It's a democratic season. But that's really all I have on this. I don't really think the veto competition was worth mentioning. I don't know, blind robot parts, and who cares? Like, we already were so far past that. Is there anything else that you want to add regarding Big Brother 26? Because obviously, anybody out there listening, we're obviously not doing the Challenge 40. I did mean to say that when we started this stream. We made a decision offline to move the challenge to Monday. Moving it to Monday. I would say, I guess, what, 9:30 like we usually do?
Yeah, I'm down for that.
Sure.
Yeah. So that's why we're talking even longer about Big Brother, because we are not double.
I mean, there was also just so much to, like, I can't imagine cutting this conversation short. There was so much to go over this week.
I honestly, though, like, I watched the entire week of Big Brother today. Like, I would have had no time to watch the challenge. My entire week was taken up by Pearl Jam shows.
Sure.
So, yeah, I've been listening to their music for the last 3 days. So
our apologies, and
I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
No, I mean, Pearl Jam's cool.
I was gonna say there are worse things,
but three concerts in a row is a lot. So now I have like 3 days to watch the challenge. So
I was very glued to feeds this week, so I was on it as it was happening.
Yeah.
I was out looking for my Hallmark mystery movies that have been removed from Peacock. If anybody follows me on Twitter, you know how distraught I have been. That is how I spend my Sunday afternoon. Hallmark mystery movies. All the ones that I had saved in my Peacock queue were removed. I am hoping, in anticipation of the launch of Hallmark Plus on September 10th. That's next Tuesday. But first, we'll be here talking about the Challenge 40. And before that, Big Brother 26 will be airing on CBS Sunday at 9. Okay, 9 o'clock, we get to see who won HOH, unless you're a proper feeder. And then we already know. Liz, what do you mean you didn't know they had mystery movies? Yes, they most certainly do. There's actually an entire channel dedicated to it. Hallmark, mysteries and something. Maybe it's just movies and mysteries or something. I don't know. It's a different logo. When you know it, you know it. It's very, very important. They're all very, very much the same. Murder mysteries. Murder in Martha's Vineyard. Murder in Tulsa. I mean, they're not. They're pretty formulaic. Very much in the style of a Lifetime movie, right? That's the kind of quality we're talking about. But
Sure.
we like what we like. Any Hoosers. So Challenge 40, Monday, 9:30 we said? That'll be the 9th.
Sounds good.
And then we'll be back with you Thursday the 12th, talking about Big Brother 26. That'll be at 9:20, as long as we don't have any tech issues. What else can we tell you about? Survivor 47 premieres on the 18th. I think we're picking up Survivor Mondays. I think that's kind of what we have landed on.
Sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. We would normally be doing the challenge on Thursdays, but this week is just an anomaly.
Yeah,
we got a holiday.
We got to figure out our Survivor draft also when we're doing that.
Yes, because Mikey is in Japan.
Right, so Mikey does not get a selection unless he does.
Oh, he will absolutely want to get a selection.
Well, maybe he doesn't. All right. Do you want to have a career or do you want to be a podcaster?
I do want to say one last little thing about BB26 because I know I'm a little biased, but I do just real quick want to throw it out and remind everybody on the BB Twitter and the other past players and podcasters and people who talk about this season. I would like to remind everybody that the people who play this game are not characters that are written by CBS. They are real people who are going to come out of the house and they want to see all of the things that people said about them the entire season. And we have had seasons where people are incredibly problematic, genuinely hateful people, mean to each other, harassing each other, and this is a season where everybody is genuinely really, really likable. So if the worst thing that somebody is a little bit annoying, maybe we treat them with a little bit more kindness. Especially knowing that their friends and family are probably also seeing all of the not nice things that are said about them. That's it.
You know what? You're totally right. I totally agree.
Especially I feel as though on the heels of this eviction, the interwebs could get a little ugly, and I just want to remind everybody that these house guests are real people and they're very nice people.
Yeah, let's do love first.
Love one another.
Wait, has she stopped doing that?
No, she did it tonight.
Oh, she did it tonight.
She's done it every single time.
Yeah.
So usually I'm running off to decide what I'm wearing for the pod. Do I have my Julie picture for the Julie judgment? So I don't always watch those last few moments. So, okay.
Yeah. But no, Gina, thank you for saying that, because I feel like you're totally right. I feel like people lose sight of that. I know at times I've been very tough on Quinn. I've been very tough on Quinn. But I will say that the only thing that I will ever say about it is that I do think that he's annoying. I'm not going to say that he's a bad person. I'm not going to say that.
We're tough on his game, and I don't like his
right.
DRs,
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I'm sure I like I said, this week I've been a little disconnected from Twitter and all that. And
Twitter's gotten rough, and even some of the past players of past seasons and other people who commentate on the season have not been kind to him either.
And I can only imagine. I haven't seen it myself just because I haven't been on there, but I'm not surprised at all to hear that people are being that way. And I just I guess I'll just say Quinn is not Daniel Durston. Okay, he's not.
Yeah.
Oh
Far
my
cry.
God, by a
Yeah, yeah,
long shot.
yeah. Quinn, I find annoying for yelling in the DR, and like he's not my favorite player, but it doesn't mean I think he's a bad person in any
That's really
way.
my only
Yeah.
issue with him. I have to say,
Yeah.
that little maroon number that he was wearing with that.
I think that was Verbina's too. He said,
Yes.
yeah.
Oh my God, he looked. Look, I am not a Quinn stan like that, but my God, them pasty legs. I loved them.
Kyle, I'm so happy.
I was like, oh no, not me
You see the
crushing after.
vision.
Oh
You see the
no,
vision.
stop. Don't go too crazy. I will not be wearing yellow. He has not, he ain't all that, but I
I will
will
not be wearing
say,
yellow.
Our sick, nasty little gremlin boy. We love him.
stop. You're going way too far. I will
Sick,
just say,
nasty little gremlin
will
boy.
say he
My
looked-
God.
damn good in that. And I will say 3 beatboxes in, I would pursue.
Wow.
That's
I feel
it.
so validated.
Kyle's got his beatbox glasses on.
I've never been happier to be on the podcast.
No, I gotta say, I was like, oh my God, look at them legs. Oh God. And with that, we are happy to say we're out of here. Find us on the socials at Strat Chat Pod. We will be back next week at 9:20 with Big Brother 26. Again, Survivor coverage coming soon. We will let you know when the draft and such is happening. We have a good time with our preseason chatter, and we'd love if you would join us. Let you know. Let me make that one work. Let you know what we're thinking preseason. You can let us know what you're thinking.
Mm-hmm.
I fixed it.